I'm not going to make any promises on the first audit I do, but certainly, again, I think we need to have an auditor who is strong and independent and looking out for the taxpayer's best interest. But for taxpayer liquor profits, there's no jobs in Ohio. So it's certainly one of the things that a strong independent auditor should be doing on behalf of the taxpayers, and saying that a fiscal audit has been done, a financial audit has been done. When KPMG did an audit, they took a black marker and marked through a bunch of things that were in that audit. If I'm a shareholder of the state, that being a taxpayer, they haven't given me transparency and accountability with respect to my money. So certainly something that should be done as a constitutional office holder whose responsibility it is to audit the books of the state of Ohio.
Is there a possibility that this rapid response team could be subject to political considerations if, something about charter schools, for example, rises to the top, but, something similar in a public school district might not draw?
I think that as auditor, it's your job to be strong and independent, and it should be about enforcing the laws of the state, following the money, whether it's public schools, publicly funded charter schools. It needs to be even and equal, and it should be about making sure the curtains are pulled back on all of them.
Well, is there some way to ensure that the decisions about which incidents to go after, which allegations of fraud and abuse would be, somehow objectively decided?
I think, again, when there's a substantial likelihood of an allegation of fraud, waste, or abuse, that's what will ultimately invoke the rapid response system. I mean, if there is substantial evidence to indicate that there's waste, fraud, or abuse, whether it be at a public school, whether it be at a charter school, whether it be a grant dollar from development services that's been awarded, it should not be about whether or not it's a group that traditionally aligns themselves with Democrats or Republicans, a Democratic contributor or a Republican contributor. It's about the taxpayers. And it's about standing up for the taxpayer's best interest.
But the determination of substantial would be made by you, right?
I will be the auditor, absolutely.
Do you believe now that audits have been used for political purposes in Ohio under the current administration?
I think that I have heard that there are allegations, certainly from elected officials around the state, that say that clearly they believe that it's been used for political purposes. So I have heard those allegations from folks. Certainly we have talked to people who have left the Performance Audit Division who said that this has become much more political than about good public policy. That's why I left. So we have heard those allegations. Can I verify those allegations? I mean, obviously it's secondhand information we have heard from people who used to work there, who don't work there now, and from office holders around the state who have said that Mr. Yost has shown up in their community. I'll take an example of Akron. He came into Akron and basically asked them to consolidate a number of funds. We've got a letter from Frank Gray, former Republican mayor, former Republican Senate Finance Chairman, who basically took a shot at Mr. Yost and said this is about political considerations. This has nothing to do with good public policy. I'm the one who put this plan in place, and the current mayor, Mayor Plisquellic, is following up on the system that I put in place. And so we would be happy to share that letter from Frank Gray with you if you're interested. You obviously can talk to Don Plisquellic about it, but we have heard these allegations around the state from Republicans and Democrats alike. Similarly, we've talked to county fair board chairs who have said that Mr. Yost is more interested in having them use large accounting firms instead of their local accounting firms based upon his interest in getting work for those firms. Again, you can talk to those county fair board chairs and get their opinions. But yes, we have heard consistently from folks around the state that this office has been used for political purposes and not for good public policy purposes. And certainly the idea that he hired a headhunter to get the head of the Performance Audit Division that he touts as a shining beacon within his administration, and that person has now left along with a number of other people from the Performance Audit Division. It does appear that there's a lot of politics at play. Other questions? All right, thank you very much for being here.